sorry. No, I won't do more than this, please. Short video. Don't share event. Let's throw them go. Guy, open up. Send video and see me, Jojo. Life move as well. Send the TV, see if I process it.
We have our representatives representing us at the red and the green chambers in Abuja. And at this point, I will be inviting more personalities for the goodwill messages. But there is no way we'll be having a synergy and a marriage like this without recognizing one personality who chairs the Ogun Free Trade Zone, ensuring that the investment destination of choice in the state is well secured and providing the enabling environment for businesses to thrive. I recognize the presence of Prince Goiga Nasir Isiaka GNI, your most recognized today. And still talking about goodwill messages, permit me at this point, Your Excellencies, very distinguished ladies and gentlemen, to now invite the Speaker of the Ogun State House of Assembly to also be part of the... Oh, before I invite the Speaker, I will invite the Chairman of the Caucus of House of Representative Members representing the good people of Ogun State at the House of Rep, Honorable Jimo Ojubere.
Thank you. Your Excellency, please, Dapo Abiodun. His Excellency, Governor of Lagos State, Babajide Sanwo-Olu. All the Dapo Abiodun observes. Today is a great day for people of Ogun State and Lagos State as well. This is the game I've been looking for. And the game has come today. Every one of us in this hall, and the people of Ogun State and the Lagos State as well, we know that the governor of Ogun State and the governor of Lagos State, they are very accommodating. This is what is supposed to have happened in the past. But today, we have a governor who is making it happen. And I believe that what we are doing today, we need legislative backing so that signing of this memo today can have a legal backing. As a member of National Assembly, I will collaborate with my members and the two House of Assembly, Ogun State House of Assembly and Lagos State House of Assembly, so that all the necessary backing can be put in place. Thank you, sir. Congratulations, sir.
Thank you. Right away, we'll be inviting the Speaker of the Ogun State House of Assembly, Right Honorable Olu. Yes,
Excellency the Governor of Ogun State, Prince Abiodun, Your Excellency the Governor of Ogun State, Mr. Babajide Sanwo-Olu, Principal Officers of the Ogun State House of Assembly here present, distinguished members of the State House of Assembly, members of the both Lagos and Ogun State Executive Council, former speakers of Ogun State House of Assembly that are here. I recognize the presence of Senator Abiodun, KBSs, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. Let me have my voice in congratulating the inhabitants of the two states for what is coming to there today. Yoruba will say, Dapo, but I want to congratulate us for coming to town with the reality of the necessity to work together for the development of our area. I wish that we can use the Dome Commission as well to cover the whole of Southwest region. There is no other time that this type of synergy is needed than now. May I therefore charge the two governments to charge the Attorney Generals to come up with a bill, fully agree with me, and take us to the next level. I thank you for this effort.
Thank you very much, the Speaker of the Ogun State House of Assembly, Right Honorable Olu. This is a union that no doubt will produce so many beautiful fruits. And this is starting with two governors having same ideas and visions. On that note, I respectfully invite the governor of the Center of Excellence, that is Lagos State, for his remarks at this point. And of course, he will be accompanied to the podium by the host governor with the 5 pillars known as Isheya, the governor of Ogun State. First, His Excellency, the governor of Lagos State, Mr. Babajide Sanwo-Olu, and the governor of the neighbouring state, Ogun State, Prince Dapo, Abiodun, MFR. Shall we put it together for the two excellencies? Thank you very much.
Thank you. Please be seated. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Excellency, the governor of Ogun State, my brother and my friend, Prince Dapo, Abiodun, MFR. I'm really excited that you've been able to pull this through. Thank you very much for your doggedness and for your insistence that will mark today's landmark event. Thank you very much. Deputy Governor of Lagos of Ogun State, Our Excellency Engineer Noima Salako Oyedele. I'm sure you know that my heart is also with my Deputy Governor, who is there in absentia, Dr. Kadri Opafemi Hamzat. The Speaker of the Ogun State House of Assembly, the Right Honorable Olakunle Oduomo, and other members of this great House of Assembly that are here present. Members of the Lagos and Ogun Executive Council in large number that are here. I think we all deserve a round of applause. Chairman of the state statutory bodies that are here present. I also want to acknowledge former deputy governors that are here. We acknowledge you. Thank you for the support and the collaboration you continue to give my brother, Governor Dapo, Abiodun. Former members of the National Assembly that are here, Dr. Tedusho, and all of you acknowledge each and every one of you. Our royal fathers who are here in large number, the Alake of Egbaland and the paramount ruler of Egbaland, Opa Adedotu and Mubaribo. Thank you very much, sir. The Awojale and paramount ruler of Jepuland, Opa Sikiru Adetono. They are heavily represented by Opa Yunusa Adekoya, the Daguru Rewa of Idowa land. Okay, if you push further, I'll put it in a room, but Daburewe of Idowa land. The Akaribo and the former ruler of Remo land, of Babatunde Ajayi, the Ulu and former ruler of Yewa land, of Bakendi Olubele, the Alape of Ekpe Ishaga, of Adewale of Shiberu, and the Alaperu of Iperu is my governor's place of Iperu Remo, Oba Adeleke Idowu Bashibo. We have to acknowledge all of our traditional rulers because we put a lot of respect and credence to that institution, so they deserve a round of applause. Our service chiefs that are here, from the DSS to the military to the police commissioner, acknowledge each and every one of you. Senior government officials that have joined us at this event, distinguished guests, very important members of the fourth realm, the gentlemen of the press. Thank you very much for being part of this historic event. Today is the 24th day of May 2021. Today marks exactly 726 days that Prince Dapo and I were sworn in as governor. Out of 1,461, we have spent 726, meaning we've spent 49.6% of our time. We'll continue to measure our time on a daily basis. We're driven by the commitment that we've given to our citizens. We're driven by the promises that we've assured our citizens that indeed our 4 years will be 4 years of remarkable developments in all of the conversations around good governance. And so, it's an honor and a real privilege to be here representing the over 22 million Lagosians who have asked me to extend greetings and felicitation to the good people of Ogun State. We're here not just as brothers and sisters, we're here as a people who have been joined together for several decades, culturally, historically, and economically. No wonder Lagos is called a center of excellence, but we cannot be excellent without being part of the gateway states. And so we see a symbiotic twin that none of us can break. And so we're happy that in our two states, you've given both of us the opportunity to be leading at this point. Our commitment in Lagos is to ensure that we create a mega city that is working, that is sustainable, and that is livable. And to express that for that to happen, we need to strategically collaborate with our closest states that we have. We usually say that we have two borders, the Atlantic Ocean and Ogun State. Since we cannot do so much with the Atlantic Ocean, we certainly need to look back and have a warm embrace with Ogun State. Like the Deputy Governor said, I was rarely privileged in 2005 when the first attempt was made by the federal government with another son of his son, our former president, to bring together a collaboration between Lagos and Ogun State. At that time, it's your son, Olusegun Oshoba, and Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, they were governors. But he did not go into major fusion. We're here today to further and to adequately strengthen that relationship. And that's why I'm indeed happy that both Prince Dapo, Abiodun, and myself have agreed to take this conversation forward. We remain committed to completely developing our state, and this is enshrined under our team's agenda to consolidate the efforts of our previous government, but more importantly, to create a greater Lagos that will become enduring, that development will not stop, and will be able to create a lasting prosperity for our people. The Memorandum of Understanding that we're signing here today is a game changer that will transform the urban agglomeration that exists between Lagos and Ogun. We're driven by the desire to stimulate the socio-economic growth, to bridge development gap, and to ensure that whilst Lagos continues to remain a mega city, Ogun State can indeed help to transform that and create another sub-mega city in our region. The Memorandum of Understanding precedes the Joint Development Commission that will be established to mutually tackle some of the issues that are prevalent between the two of us. Issues around transportation, around environment and urban challenges, fiscal planning, housing, border issues, infrastructure development, and of course, security. Regardless of the challenges, we're determined to build a more livable and stable city. Our goal is to build a sustainable urban city where both the residents of Lagos and Ogun have a sense of belonging, they embrace the participatory issues around governance, and they recognize their role as achieving a solid urban economic growth for the two states. In light of current global practices in managing megacities, it has become obvious that the best way to accelerate socio-economic development between our two states is by embracing a more collaborative approach to growth, to development, and to an urban sustainability. No wonder, like the Commissioner said, we've seen a very strong testimonial from the New York, New Jersey story, where all of you go to at one point in time or the other, where there are cities without boundaries. You do not know when you're in New York or when you're in New Jersey. We want to replicate that in Lagos-Ogun Sister Joint Commission. We believe that this Joint Commission will help sustain development agenda that will drive economic resource and will meet the present socio-economic needs of our people. This is not political. This is about our people. This is for the people who have elected us into the office. It is about their source of livelihood. It's about the security that is hammering the two of us. It's about the planning approvals that we need to look at that. It's about the transportation, the ease of movement between our two communities. It's about ensuring the ease of doing business amongst our two states that we're talking about. And at the end of the day, it's not about us. The signing of the agreement that we're doing today. And so we're expecting that the memorandum will look at areas of trade and investment, will look at resolving boundary issues, will enhance and ensure that security and intelligence gathering and sharing becomes part of us. We'll look at issues around environmental and fiscal planning activity. We'll look at issues around safety, emergencies, disaster management, water transportation, and clean water that we're currently developing amongst our two states. We'll look at traffic management and all of the solutions around it. We'll look at food security, look at the components around agriculture and feeding our citizens. I'm sure that we have more than enough to bring us together, and that's why we're pushing all this together for today's event. I want to assure you that the MoU will be meticulously implemented. The next step is for us to establish the commission that will implement the terms of the MoU, that will also enable us to formally have our two House of Assemblies, pass the law or the bill that will be sent to them, so that it can outlive, both of us, it can outlive our time in office, and it can become something that is enduring, is sustainable, and a life document that will be speaking to the needs and the challenges of our people as we move on in life. At this junction, it's also important to reiterate the call for a greater collaboration amongst our entire 36 states in the Federation. The common goal is to provide good governance and to make life more meaningful for our citizens. And this should be a driving force. If you feel challenged, if you feel envious by Lagos-Ogun, you think about your own too. And it's about the entire 36 states of our country. It's about the development that we call Nigeria. It's about ensuring that the dividends of democracy is real and it's something that our citizens can feel. And so, we'll never let us be divided ethnically or religiously. We are one Nigeria. And we believe that we're connected, interconnected in several ways more than one. And that we see the fastest way of development as in the terms of the engagement we're having here together, and the growth that we see will be not only phenomenal, will be astronomical. And so I want to urge and I want to encourage the citizens of both Lagos and Ogun to brace up, to see this opportunity, to see this as another attempt by their government to pass on this to them, and to see this as a synergy that indeed has to work. And that is working already. As I close, when I look at the array of commissioners that are in Ogun State, they can as well also be in Lagos State. Because indeed, they are all products from the two states. And I know that the commitments that they will be taking from this, that the two governors have asked them to do, is that they will not be divided by who wins what or who gets what, but they will be driven by the shared vision of understanding and appreciating that we're doing this for our citizens, we're doing this for our people, and we're doing this for the generation that is coming behind us. Thank you very much. And it's nice to have been here. Over to my big brother, Prince Dapo.
Your Excellency and my brother, Mr. Babajide Sanwo-Olu, the Executive Governor of Lagos State, the biggest and largest economy in Nigeria, the fifth largest economy on the continent. Her Excellency, the Deputy Governor of Ogun State, Engineer Noemon Salaforidele, Speaker of the Ogun State House of Assembly, Right Honorable Onle Udomo, the Secretary of State Government of Ogun State, Mr. Tokunbo Talabi, the Secretary of State Government of Lagos State, Mrs. Folashade Jaji, the Head of Ogun State Civil Service, Alhaji Salman, all other members of the Ogun State Executive Council that are here present, you are all ably and well appreciated and recognized. All other members of the Lagos State delegation, they are also very well appreciated and recognized. Members of the National Assembly here present, both serving and past, members of the State House of Assembly, all former deputy governors are here, former speakers, for us who are speakers, as they say, there are no former speakers, the one and only APC chairman in the States, Chief Yemi Sanusi, all board chairmen and statutory commissions here present, members of the body of the permanent secretaries, all service chiefs are here present. You are all recognized: the army, the police, the state department of security, the civil defense, our royal majesties, His Royal Majesty and paramount ruler of the land, the Alake Oba Abiodun Aremu Balebo. His Royal Majesty, the Akaribu and paramount ruler of Remaland, Oba Babajide Ajayi. His Royal Majesty and paramount ruler of Yowaland, Oba Kehinde Ubele. His Royal Majesty and paramount ruler of Ijebuland, ably represented by Oba Yunusa Adekoya, the Dapo way of the Dawan. All our religious leaders are here to witness this auspicious occasion, the camp chairman and representative of the League of Imams, all other eminent and distinguished guests that have come to join us to witness today, the members representing our youth, gentlemen of the press, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of the good people and government of the Lagos State, I welcome my brother, His Excellency, Mr. Babajide Sanwo-Olu, and his entire team to the capital of the Lagos State. Indeed, I would like to congratulate all of us for witnessing the operationalization of this success story that has been long in discussion with my brother and I. As a matter of fact, we started these discussions as soon as we were both elected, even before we were sworn in. This is an obvious result of deliberate and methodical effort of two forward-thinking governors. By the same token, I would like to welcome our royal fathers, captains of industries, players in the private sector, and all those that have come to join us from far and near. I call this bilateral event a success story because whereas in the past there might have been some initiatives between our two states, but this is the first time that we will have a formal and structured framework of bilateral engagement that will be legislative backed. Yes, it is undeniable that we share historical and cultural affinities, and long before now, successive administrations have mouthed and attempted to have some omnibus or special arrangements to have Lagos and Ogun State work together. Today, we'll be signing a historic Memorandum of Understanding that takes cognizance of what has been envisioned leading to the establishment of the Professor Akimu Babukuja's Committee on the Lagos Megacity Region Plan of 2005-2006. Between the two of us, my brother and I, it is a mission accomplished and a dream come true to put into action the thought about our two states forging a common alliance to jointly tackle issues bordering on security, sanitation, traffic and transportation, waste management, water supply, land use planning, infrastructure development and maintenance, urban renewal, slum upgrading, for the mutual benefit of our people and the generality of Nigerians. All these developmental imperatives have to be streamlined for us to be serious and focused. Law is not just a mere tool for development. This Joint Development Commission will function better to sustain these common goals, and there is no better time than now to deepen not only the relationship between our two states, but within and contiguous states in the country, just like my friend has said. What is more, this MoU we are signing is a combination of various efforts by state and non-state actors who have seen beyond the geographical delineation of our states. Already, a number of state-owned institutions like the Nigerian Police Force, Nigerian Customs Service, Nigerian Immigration, and others have always recognized the twin or Siamese relationship between our two states, and have always grouped Lagos and Ogun State as one zone under their respective high commands. We are cognizant of the fact that Ogun State is the only neighbor that Lagos has, and that we are a natural overflow of Lagos. There is no how a development in Lagos will not have a spiral effect and vice versa. Ogun and Lagos states are like two rivers flowing into each other. It is very difficult to identify which of the rivers is actually flowing onto the other. That is, as our various other communities, there is no actual way of separating the peoples living in the two states of Lagos and Ogun. The fact is that while many people are living in Lagos State and working in Ogun State, some of our people are actually also working in Lagos State. Whichever way we look at it, Ogun State has a larger percentage of the population overspilled into Lagos State, as witnessed by our border communities in Ota, Akute, Alagbole, Lambe, Ojoju, Agbado, Nowe, Warewa, and Sherry. And indeed, all the 8 government areas that we share boundaries with Lagos State. In actual fact, what concerns our people, particularly from the two states, is to make a living and increase their individual prosperity. This MoU is therefore a manifestation of the common dream that the nation's largest economy and the nation's industrial capital are falling because both are deliberate, focused, and methodical to governance. Again, I must thank my brother governor, His Excellency Babajide Sanwo-Olu, for his cooperation and enthusiasm for the support of this issue from day one. Before now, together we have jointly written formally to the President Muhammadu Buhari, to release the Lagos-Ogun and the Provincial routes to us for us to jointly reconstruct. So this initiative has started in principle. Another manifestation of this working relationship is the Abiodun Water Works, which you know resides in Ogun State. And we had to sit down to creatively figure out how to deal with the issues of physical planning that had long plagued the successful implementation of that water works. Lagos State will be supplying water from Ogun State, and that water works will also be supplying water to Ogun State. From now onward, what you will see will become the envy of others, because our joint commission will now focus and cooperate amongst others on the following socio-economic development areas: infrastructure development, including development of boundary towns, water works, mass transportation by rail, road, and waterways; revenue and taxation, including PAY remittances, border town revenue management and collection, signage and advertisement agent charges; trade and investment; resolution of boundary disputes. I remember yesterday somebody was saying they have moved the border beyond Kara, and the three wise men have been moved beyond where they should be, and we said we will resolve it tomorrow. Security, including information sharing arrangements on residence identification and other security and intelligence gathering and sharing. Environmental and physical planning activities, including emergency and disaster management, inland waterways management, traffic management, land use planning, urban renewal, slum upgrading, environmental sanitation, dredging, sand filling, and waste management. Agriculture and food security, including partnership on cultivation and processing of food crops such as rice, cassava, and greenhouse vegetables. One thing is clear: our people do not care who is to execute a project or infrastructure, just as there are no federal people, state people, nor local government people. What matters to the people is to get the job done. The two states, therefore, are important stakeholders in this development agenda. If we jointly do this, there will be development which will continue to increase employment generation, poverty alleviation, and food security. The official launch of this commission today will further initiate and accelerate more projects necessary to aid ease of movement of our people, goods and services, as well as increase industrialization along our border communities and ensure a wholesome development of our both states. Therefore, I call on the private sector to support and collaborate with the two governments in this success story of the Lagos Joint Development Commission. This will further help in sustaining our Ishaya pillars, which I'm sure you all know what Ishaya means. For the purpose of our friends from Lagos, Ishaya is an acronym: I for infrastructure, S for social welfare and welfare, Y for environment and job creation, A for agriculture. And I know you have themes as well. No doubt, the enduring development we will all crave for in Lagos and Ogun State can be more guaranteed. Once again, as I welcome my brother, Governor, His Excellency, Mr. Babajide Sanwo-Olu, to Abeokuta, the Gateway State Capital, let me particularly congratulate you for your outstanding performance in the last 2 years. We're very, very proud of you. Mention was made of the way you handled the COVID-19 pandemic. You could not have done any better. The monumental infrastructure development that we see in the entire landscape of Lagos State, and your proactiveness in the management of security, and particularly the enforcement of physical and environmental planning in the state. Many times people will call me, somebody is demolishing my house, somebody is doing this to me. I said to them, what have you done? They said, no, one person said to me, maybe he's envious of me. I said, come on. The governor of Lagos is envious of you. Are you contesting to the governor of Lagos with him? And I said to them, I'm not going to call him on because this man is very focused, he's very methodical and very deliberate. He will do what is right. So I want to congratulate you for ensuring that you sustain the physical and environmental planning of Lagos State. And we identify with you in that we are doing the same here in Ogun State. I want to enjoin every individual and corporate body and other stakeholders to join us in making history. In Ogun State, we say, come and join us in building the future of Ogun State together. But this time, I'm calling on all of you to come and join hands with us in building the future of Lagos and Ogun State together. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. We'll invite their excellencies to take their seats for the formal signing of the Memorandum of Understanding.
How are you doing?